Hi, Nina.
Thank you for coming so much. Hi,
Ooh.
I'm Nina Dawson. Nina Dawson. Nina Dawson has the privilege to have three amazing men here today. So before we get into that, I just want to talk really briefly about Nina's Bag. Nina's Bag is a podcast that I developed to have conversations about all different topics, a multitude of topics. Today, we are privileged to have Billy C, aka Billy Chaffin.
Hi, how are you?
I think I did that backwards.
Yeah, it's okay.
We
Big
have
bold word.
Cardo, aka Recardo.
Hey.
And we have Carlton, aka Cotti. That's how I know.
What's up?
Yes. We got you all in the building. CJ, I want them to see your handsome face though.
Mm-hmm.
So just position your mic
There
where
you
it
go.
gets to you, but yeah, there you go. There you
Gotcha.
go. All right. So fellas, we can talk about whatever you guys like in sports, but I'm presuming that you guys are probably going to want to talk about the NBA
Absolutely.
because the NBA is
Yeah,
doing
WNBA
right?
is just as good right now, if not better. No, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah.
I teach girls basketball, and right now is a great time for women.
They know how to play the game, actually.
It's not that they know how to play the game. If you can get their skill levels up, they can go and get a college education without having to pay. I tell all my girls that are
That's a good route for success.
it's a tool. It's one of the best tools that we have. It's one of the best tools that I have at my disposal to be able to use techniques that
Absolutely.
I learned when Mike Rienzo used to coach me. You know, I still use the 1-2-2. I still use zone pressing,
Yeah.
and I teach the kids one thing: when I don't have the ball, I want the ball.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
So coaching
Never
is,
seen a shot he didn't like.
coaching is your forte then. That's one of your things, right?
It's just it's God given it to me as one of my greatest blessings. You know, to be able to talk and speak and have somebody listen.
Did you play ball?
That was nice. I don't want to talk about that.
Did you play ball, Cardo?
Yeah, I played a
My
little bit.
Was
my
you
daughter
nice
came
too,
home.
Cardo?
Yeah, it was all right.
Wait a minute. Let's get this straight right now.
Oh, no.
I'm the nicest thing in
Did
the
you
room.
play ball?
Yeah, I played, but I was a late bloomer. But I didn't know until I got up.
So you got it all here.
16 and almost in senior in high school. I picked up a ball, and the rest was history.
So wait, your game was tight too, though, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
We got three ballers here. All right.
You know,
So let's talk NBA if that's cool with y'all. Like I would love to know
dun,
your
dun,
take
dun,
on
dun,
what's going on right
Yeah.
now because I watch it like a dude.
dun,
I love
dun,
it.
dun, dun.
Well, just let me. I want to say this.
Sure.
That these are some very, very exciting times for all sports, but the NBA, I mean, like Billy touched up on the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the women, they come a long place. They're looking to get their bag and they should. But
They should.
but just sports in its entirety, you know, you could talk football, basketball. I'm in the hockey, I'm in the tennis now. The
I
girls
love
done
it.
brought me into tennis. But I
Oh,
know
tennis
today's
too?
venue,
I like
you would like us to
Oh, yeah.
focus on,
like
tennis
it.
is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just
You
in
know, you got
general.
Coco, you got the number one woman player in the world, which was Sabalenka, and she got beat. Coco took her out. And
Coco
then
is a bad.
yeah, Coco's
She is the bad.
yeah.
And she's young. She's got the
She's a baby, right?
tools
Yeah.
to be that next step.
Wow.
So with having said that, you know, with basketball, you know, that's what's happening right now. The NBA.
I
And them
love it.
4 teams that
Dun,
it's the
dun,
final
dun,
four.
Love it.
Go New York, go
Four.
New York, go.
Yes.
Go New York. I know y'all talking about New York, but I don't want to bust your bubble. We'll talk about that a little later. But
Wait, you
I'm
don't
gonna
like New York?
Nah, he's somewhere
Listen.
out west.
He out west.
Cotti done left the broadcast.
But
Eh,
I like
now
perspective,
now
though.
that your
But
team
they won me over.
now that your
see?
team is out,
Yeah, they won
we
me
gotta
over.
go for New York.
Yeah, and I have, and I said that.
Yeah.
I
oh, excuse me.
Listen, Billy.
The train left a long time ago.
Yeah,
Train left a long time ago. Don't be trying to jump on us now.
yeah, but listen,
But
I gotta
wait,
call it like
but
it is.
wait.
I'm a baller.
When it all boils down, I just like to see good basketball
That's
played.
right.
Good
That's right.
competitive game.
And-
No.
Billy,
I want to win.
then-
I haven't won since Clyde Frazier, Monroe,
What was that, like
Worcester,
77,
73.
73?
73.
Then they
73 was the last time I had Patrick Ewing for almost 20 years. We
Yeah.
didn't win one.
Oh, you're
We
talking
did.
Knicks.
I'm talking Knicks,
He's
straight
talking
up.
Nick.
Did you
he's
guys
a
go
Nick.
back to
He's
back?
Nick.
I'm straight up
I am
Knicks.
so- I'm
Boom,
sorry.
boom.
See.
I won my first one.
So-
It's gonna be a problem.
I won
because
my first one. We
It's
won
gonna-
two.
it's
Won
gonna be a
two.
problem with Billy.
And I was there
Right,
for both
right,
of them.
Right.
It's
right.
gonna be a problem with Billy right now because I can tell you, he don't want me and Jeezy. I know Jeezy, you New York, ain't you, Jeezy?
No, I'm
Oh my God, man.
I'm a
Nina, next time, screen your
I like the Portland Trailblazers.
Absolutely.
These guys are, this is a rip.
See,
I like to follow LeBron
You're about as
James.
shocked as I am.
So,
Nina, this ain't got nothing to do with you because if you'd have knew, if you'd have knew that me and Jeezy was coming in here, and
I'd have
you
locked
was a
the
New
door.
York fan.
I would lock the door.
You
I
just
said
told
that
you.
oh
you
no,
couldn't come.
I'm all in for New York though now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
now we're
I'll
talking.
repeat myself.
Yeah, but you know me, Billy. I'm not.
And
I'm not gonna back down to
the
your.
train
I'm not
has
gonna back down to your onslaughts because you still got a little ways to go yet. You got something to prove.
I've been this far in a
You
long
know,
time.
I know.
It's called enjoyment.
Yeah, I know.
It's called for those that like Portland and Boston and all those other teams that are
Right.
they're gone.
Oh,
There's only 4 teams left.
We
So
never
excuse
got
me.
in there.
so your team's going?
Oh, we didn't even make it.
So
Did not make the playoffs.
His team, my team, we like Portland. They fishing. They've been
Yeah,
fishing.
yeah.
They've been on the fishing.
We've been
trip.
fishing for the last couple
So
years.
y'all ain't hating on
But
the
I-
Knicks though.
No.
I want them to win. Well, I wanted LeBron to win since he's out.
Uh,
He's exited.
You want to talk about who? He's the GOAT, right?
I wouldn't say he was the GOAT, but he's
No.
he's next in line. He's second.
Yeah, he's third, fourth for me.
No,
Fifth.
no.
Ronnie?
No, we need one. No, LeBron. Period. The young boys, and I say my next generation down because they're not too far from me, want to give LeBron the title. They actually want him to be the king. And right now, in this time and space, he is.
Yes, he is.
But you're not the GOAT, and that's the greatest of all time. You're not
Who
him.
was that?
Huh?
Who was
Listen,
that?
it was a guy named Chamberlain that I don't know why they didn't like him. Maybe because they want to talk about his escapades off the court.
How about Bill Russell?
Bill Russell got more titles than all of them guys put together.
More rings than he got put on his finger.
Well, he got one on his toe. Don't even worry about that. I'm serious. That's how they.
But he's right. He's right in what he's saying. You know, a lot of people
I
wanna
agree.
crown the
I
king
agree.
as LeBron James.
But-
But I
but-
think a
I've
GOAT
seen
is
too much
measured by chips.
I've seen too much basketball.
and-
But to me,
you-
I don't think if you got multiple championships,
11.
no. But I'm just saying multiple.
Because
Now,
5
now,
and 6 don't get it no
now,
more.
if you put the whole playground
Package,
together to package the points, the scoring, the
Right.
assists, the rebounds, that's what makes you the GOAT.
Right.
Oh, if that's
and
the
so-
case, then it's already Bill Russell.
Yeah, because he
Baddest
got
guy.
Bill
I'm the
Russell.
baddest.
Bill-
They had 11.
Bill Russell wasn't
But-
better than Shaq.
But in
Yeah,
this,
he was.
but listen, in this
right,
modern
but-
era right now,
I'm sorry.
you're gonna have an argument.
There's a
because I don't get
there's-
into these
there's a
debates like
argument.
this because Jordan
I ain't gonna-
Jordan
that.
is gonna go
You got-
down as the greatest basketball player ever. I don't care
No,
who
yeah,
comes along.
I 100%
He's a-
agree with y'all on that. I always have this argument. I love Michael Jordan as number
I
one.
already told you what I said.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, LeBron.
I'll make you mad.
With his
I'll go
persona
back and
what
just
he
say,
brings
give it to
the
Willis
table.
Reed.
Fine.
Yeah,
Came out of
everybody
the
does.
toe, one leg, and
And-
took a championship.
And the way he plays and the integrity of the game and just what he brings to the table and his tenacity to leave Cleveland and come back and make good on a promise. Although he had his Batman has a Robin, and his Robin in that case was Kyrie Irving because he
Yeah.
could have never accomplished it without him.
Yeah, but you look
having
at
said that,
nobody can accomplish it without
That's
without a
right.
Robin.
No man is
you know what I
right.
mean? Like there's no
Wah.
way. I don't
Right.
what Scottie Pippen was unbelievable on the teams them
I'm
years.
so tired of crying. I'm so tired of these guys crying because they don't listen.
Scotty
what
was
really
unbelievable.
happened in this world. You know where it went bad? And I'm going to tell you.
go ahead, Bill.
Get up to speed. LeBron goes down to Miami. All right. And he wants to talk to Chris Bosh. They also had, who was the jump shooter down there?
Oh, Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. They had a little team down there, and them guys went to lunch. No trainers, no coaches, no agents. First time ever. All they did was like this: call up, let's meet, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came up with oh, why don't we all get together? Not let's talk. That's never happened in the NBA
Right.
because it was controlled. Teams, when you got drafted by a team, there wasn't no getting traded until you were almost used up.
Right.
Then they would trade you. You know, LeBron jumped teams right in the middle of his career. Boom, boom, boom. Now he's gotten old. He's got a bunch of chips. He's all of a sudden being called bad news to me. I don't think he's the GOAT. I don't think he's
Scoring leader.
God.
Say it again.
Scoring
Say it
leader.
again.
For someone that can't put the
Say
ball
it
in the
again.
basket,
Say it
he
again.
leads the league in all-time
number one.
scoring.
Hold up, Billy.
I'm not going to argue with
That's
him.
a really good point
Make that
right there.
clear. What's
Now,
the scoring
imagine-
leader is how many he got the most
Yes.
points.
Now
in the NBA.
imagine if LeBron wasn't a pass-first player. He would have 60,000 points right now. What?
Unreachable.
What?
Why don't they put a 4-point play in it for him? I'm so tired. Because Chamberlain never played. He scored 100. Chamberlain scored 100 one day. I mean, if there was an internet,
Well,
he'd have blown it up.
Wait.
They didn't
Scored
say
100
that was.
points.
In a game.
In a game.
They have no video footage
Possible?
of that,
It was possible, and it was only twos back then. No,
and they
threes.
had no footage of it. But
They didn't
I
have
believe he
three-pointers?
did. But no,
No, they didn't have 3 points when we were in high school.
no.
Really?
No,
No.
when I was in college, I scored 41, 45 points, probably one of my best games ever.
More work.
And at work, I had a couple dunks, but the rest of them were 35, 40 footers. I was Steph Curry before Steph. I don't care.
Okay.
Anybody.
No, you were. I ain't gonna lie.
Full chains. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna lie about that.
So all three of you were baddies.
No, I was
can
real
name
bad.
one.
Them guys came along and did what they had to do, but I was real bad. We didn't even know how bad we were because of the competition that the guys I played with. I don't care if nobody
play
liked.
with?
I played with Larry Carpenter, Donnie Timbrook, Corey Chambers, Greg Glass.
Corey Chambers, shout out to him.
Yeah, Billy
He
Cat.
coached me at
I
Oakland.
could, Artie Schleitner. I could
You
give.
can go on. You can go on. 100 games.
Because you know why? You know why I remember them guys like that? Because those are the guys I went to war with when it was wartime.
Yeah.
And I was a young man. I didn't like nobody at practice. I was playing you as hard as practice. I was going to get somebody when I went to Poughkeepsie, Newburgh.
Oh,
You didn't have my brother. I tell you a little story. My brother.
They said he had a better career than you though.
No.
He on that $1,000. He on that 1,000-point board.
Here we go again with why I didn't. Oh, no.
Come on, blast like
Nah.
that.
No. I wish he did because here's the real
Let's
deal.
have his roses, man.
No, I got my roses. Here it is. Chase, how come you never made the 1,000? Who's on that? That's my brother, coached by me in his early life, getting 1,000 with no threes. Clark's the only. He's the last
Oh,
person
yeah.
on the list
Three?
with
No threes.
Yeah,
Oh, Clark would have had.
Clark played in '83.
He
No
might have.
threes.
He might have had 2,000 points.
good.
Yeah, he was good
That's
like that.
crazy.
And
I
they
didn't
would
know
say
that.
to me, Bill, how come you didn't get 1,000? I said, because I was always on the bench. The coach was playing the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th player on the bench because we're up by 20. We're up 15. Now, the mom that comes to see her boy play, now all of a sudden, why ain't her baby in the game?
Yeah.
And a lot of that went on during my era.
Oh no, that's still.
And-
that's the-
So,
that's the
you know what?
Kingston
When you're a little,
politics.
when you're a young man, you're blowing teams out and you're having
Hey,
fun.
Billy, but I got a question for you.
Winning was
if
good.
you was on the bench, where was you in that game when y'all came to Poughkeepsie and knocked us off our perfect season? And I pulled up there and I told y'all, bears repeating, that cops was all over the place
That
because y'all beat Poughkeepsie and Poughkeepsie.
I beat
Y'all
Poughkeepsie.
ain't getting up out of there.
I got them. Carlton, don't get mad at me.
But you won the bench that night.
No, I wasn't on the bench. I was on the bench that night. We wouldn't have won that game.
Stay right there in that vein because
That's
listen,
funny.
I'm
That's,
gonna tell you a story, and it's true.
that's funny.
I told y'all that I was a late bloomer coming up in Poughkeepsie. You know, I didn't dribble the
Turn
ball
my
and
phone
start
off.
playing basketball until I was in a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And I got on the team. The coach loved me. He would have me come and do these personal sessions for his entourage, and I just was in the zone, couldn't miss. And I knew that I couldn't play that good on the defensive end, but I could handle the ball. And once I picked up the ball and knew that I could handle, I knew if you can't handle when you on the court, you can't be on the court.
It's the most important
You
thing.
got to be able to handle the ball, dribble, do
It's
something.
one of the most important things.
So
in
that
basketball.
dribble is an asset. So
Yeah.
having said that,
Yeah.
when I started dribbling, I said, okay, and I don't want to toot my own whistle here, but I'm going somewhere with this. So just stay with me.
That answer.
So I started shooting the rock, and I said, man, I can't jump. I can't dunk my hands. Look at my hands. My hands ain't that big. Cordell look like it got a glove on him. He's like wearing a baseball glove, you know. He like all like this.
We don't want to talk about the
So-
deformities of our kids.
What I'm saying now is that when I picked up that ball, Billy, I'm going somewhere. Just stay right there for about 30 seconds in my foul.
I'm going to hold on.
So when I picked up the ball, I got on the team. All I had to do, the coach said, just come to practice.
Mhm.
Well, you know, Allen Iverson, practice. But that wasn't me because I said I'm gonna do whatever I can do to get on the team. But the one requirement that they had back then and they still have is you got to pass your 4 majors.
Okay.
You can't be sucking around with English, math,
Oh,
science,
oh,
and
still.
history.
You gotta be smart.
So
and
Yeah.
that's right.
Have to.
Yeah.
That's the criteria, and I agree with that. I screwed up, and I had to hear from my family, even the guys that I played with, Billy Daniels and Larry Benjamin, and
Yeah,
all
them kids
that
were good.
Was
Yeah, they
that
were
Will
good.
Daniels' dad?
Yeah, Will Daniels' dad.
Yeah,
man.
that kid
Legend,
was
man.
good.
Billy, that was my
You know, I
friend.
learned a lot from him, man.
Yeah,
that was my
Put us
friend.
up together, but I mean, he was the man with 1,000 moves. Man, I seen
hey.
him one time come down, and he took the ball and was dribbling and spun around in a 360 in midair. And when he threw the ball, he was looking at the fans this way and threw the ball back to the backboard,
Oh
and
my
he hit off the
God.
backboard and went in nothing but net.
Oh my
I said, I
God.
know this is a bad boy.
He was a bad man.
So I said that because I'm telling Billy that if I'd have been on that team, and I know if the rabbit didn't stop the dog would have never caught him, they said. So that if is a big
Okay.
if. I ain't gonna swear, but if the rabbit didn't stop
You can.
the dog wouldn't have caught him. And so
Oh, no, he
anyway-
can't.
So anyway, no. So let me just make my point here, y'all. And then I'm gonna turn it back over to Billy.
No, go ahead.
And then
I'm
we're gonna
loving
hear
you.
Jeezy because Jeezy got a lot of wisdom. He got a lot of knowledge in the game, and I see him when he's at the game, and he don't know, but I be watching because you could see stuff outside the game better than you can see in the game.
Absolutely.
That's why when the coach set you on the bench because you stinking.
Right.
Don't get mad. Don't get mad because he's gonna tell you come over here and sit down
cry.
and look at it because you can't see the trees. The forest from the trees. So come over here so you can see the trees and the people that are contributing and doing what I need you to do, but you ain't doing it, but you getting mad because I'm pulling you out the game.
I don't get
So anyway, back to my little episode. But like I said, I started shooting because I knew I was going to the Persian Avenue right behind the street from my
I
house
know.
and throwing up shots, starting from 5 feet back out to 10 to 15 to 20. That's all I did was perfect the shot and my handling ability because I knew I had a deficiency in rebounding. My quickness and steals was okay, but the defense and playing footwork, that's where Billy come in. He's a defensive
oh,
whiz. He got the
fancy.
quickest hand. Yeah, he got quickest hands. He still got them quick hands. You show him the ball, and he got your money, and you think you going to the store, and he took your money, and you get to the store.
I
and
don't
you ain't
want my
got-
chips
you
with your
ain't got
money.
no
I'm sorry.
So I said to myself, I got to perfect this shot, and that's what I did. And so my name will come up in Poughkeepsie as a legend and as one of the greatest shooters in Poughkeepsie. If they talk about just shooting the ball, and so I'm telling Billy that if I would have passed that test and had my way with the coaches and that teacher that said no, and I said, and my family said, Carlton, you're good at what you do, but you didn't meet the criteria, so you got to sit. I was averaging 30 in the preseason, coming off the bench.
Wow.
And not even cracking a sweat. And they'd be like, who is this guy?
Wow.
Because if they didn't get on me, if they got on me, then I had the handle ability to get around them and get my shot off. So
Wow.
I'm telling Billy now that you talking about the coach had you on the bench. But if I was in that game, Billy, I'm telling you straight up right now, and you know I love you as my own brothers. If I was in that game, it wouldn't have came down to a last second shot.
Oh, that game
I'm done.
the last second shot?
Yeah,
I beat him.
he beat us for the last second shot.
The only thing he doesn't understand,
It's almost
the
started
thing he
right
keeps forgetting is that if he was there, and I would have loved it for him to be there, because that would have meant I had more time on the court. Because as we're blowing teams
You're
out,
right. Go ahead.
they sit.
That's a
they,
real point.
They would sit me down.
That's a good
They would sit me down. But if they had another guy, a Carlton Johnson, a Cotti that could shoot like that,
Yeah.
I'd have been on it.
Yeah, because you did.
I wouldn't have said I'm not going to sit here.
I would have been your assignment.
I wasn't going to sit here and say, oh, I would have stopped him. No, well, that, you know what? I made my mark. That
Yeah, you did.
was a problem.
You sure did.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
And to do what we did at the time we did it in the life that we did.
I'm gonna turn it over to
It was
Jeezy
fun.
because this is listen. I'm telling you, just
Before you do that game, you'll almost didn't get out of Poughkeepsie.
We didn't. They shot the bus.
If I remember correct, I remember I was little, but I heard about
I wasn't
that
going.
game.
Listen, I wasn't ready to go yet.
I was right there.
I heard about
It was a
I
reason
made
why.
I made the shot.
There
You
was-
talking about public enemy number one?
It
Oh
was
my
a
goodness.
reason why I showed up.
And as it transitioned from them leaving to the later 80s, the 90s, when I played in the
Don't
2000s, we couldn't go to Poughkeepsie and they couldn't come to Kingston, and we could never have a a non-league
That's
game at
Listen,
our
Yeah,
home court. We
yeah.
always had to play in a neutral
probably-
site.
we
Paris
probably-
College,
we-
Mount St.
yeah, we
Mary.
probably-
Thanks, Shafe.
well,
Yeah, it was bad.
listen.
Man,
You all had
Wow.
that, but I bet you never got chained into a building.
yeah.
We went to Newburgh.
Oh,
man,
no, Newburgh.
And they-
Newburgh is-
and
Newburgh.
they chained the doors locked.
Yeah.
You couldn't get out to go to the bathroom. You couldn't get back in the locker room
Are you
until
serious?
halftime. They didn't let nobody watch the game.
Listen.
One of the best games you can play, ain't nobody seen it.
Listen,
We got escorted out of Newburgh by state police every year, and they had to go through a metal detector. I'm like, where are we going, into a jail?
I apologize for my boys and myself.
God.
I just want to
Wait,
say
that's
this.
for a basketball.
Basketball.
It's the basketball.
Nah.
Poughkeepsie, Newburgh, Kingston. That I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is. But, oh my
down
God.
In Newburgh.
Mm.
The last senior year, I'm down in Newburgh, and this woman is rapping
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I said, "Yo, Oprah, your wig is crooked."
No, you didn't.
She wanted to follow me out and knife me down. The cops were so scared they double escorted me to my
I
car.
know that
my
feeling.
God.
And I
My
was,
brother had went through experience.
Hey,
Like that. Go ahead.
no,
I
the
know
whole thing
that.
was I didn't want none of that. Let me go out
Right.
there. If she wanted to dance, we could dance.
Right.
I tell you what, I had to put my money on her if I was betting it.
I want to
Yeah,
say
you
this
got
real quick.
serious
I want to say
between
this
us
real
three.
quick.
Yeah.
I'm from Poughkeepsie, so I don't want y'all to think that these are my friends.
Right.
Through thick and thin, and trials and tribulation, they know the compassion that I have for the game, and also the respect that I have for them and their families.
Right.
I've always been like that.
Right.
Yep.
And I used to,
That's how
tell
it
my
should be.
son the same thing, that look, life deals us some certain
Lemons.
type,
That's a
certain
good way to phrase it.
situations that we got to adjust. It's always adjustment in life, and we got to make the right adjustment. When
Life
you
be
do,
lifing.
you can get through it. But having said that, like I said, I was born and raised in Poughkeepsie, and ended up probably going to die there. I'm not moving out of Poughkeepsie. I was born and raised there. Now my wife, she from Kingston.
Yeah.
So now she from
Kingston
Kingston
in the
I'm
building.
from Poughkeepsie,
The kids are from
the
Highland.
love of my life. And so when I go to Kingston,
And she's
and
so beautiful.
when I come
She's
to
ageless.
when
your
I
wife.
come to Kingston, and I see the likes of like Jeezy, even it's much more my younger brother, but still, like I said, I respect youth, and we're gonna talk about that when we get back to the NBA, because we're gonna go there in a minute. When I met my wife and I said I'm gonna court her, and I brought her over here, and we was over here close to almost 20 years, and they still think I still live here, as a matter of fact. And I said, no, I had to win her over, and then we came back. We've been together, y'all. Listen, we've been together for
It's the
49
water.
years.
Wow.
49 years. I don't know how she put up with
Well,
me, but
you
she
get this-
did.
You get this. For
She,
that.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
water.
Listen,
Crazy.
although
You
we've
don't
been
look
married, we
something.
just celebrated our 37th anniversary
God
on May
bless.
12th. We got married in
No.
1988. So
They
your
know
math will
something,
say
y'all.
37 years. But in the eyes of the Father, upstairs that's watching down, the Lord, I'd like to say he consolidated them, and he already knew that we was going to be married. So I said, hon, them other 11 years that Cordell and Tasha were twins before we got married, you put
I
them with
remember
that
those.
30, and then the 9 months you carried them, I said, that's almost 49 years.
Yeah, I'd say half a
And so-
century.
49
And so, but I
years.
said so when I came over here, the talent and oh man, they crazy about this sports over here, especially
Yeah.
football. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but there's a lot of winners. You
Yeah.
don't get the light of a.
And I want to mention some of them. So
Right.
when I came over here, shout out to Larry Carpenter, shout out to Donnie
Harp, we're
Timbrook.
gonna give you a little bit of shout out, but you didn't make the show. You didn't make the show tonight, but we're gonna give you yours. We're gonna give it to you.
That's
All
why
right,
he
kid,
sent
I
me
got
here.
you.
So he sent me here because he know I ain't a loss of no
I
words.
got you.
But
He did.
the Donnie Timbrooks, the Dow, I can go on and on. Bobby, the Brown,
Bobby Williams.
Williams, yeah. But thank you, Billy. Bobby, all these cats, man. Rick Knox. I mean, you can go on and on. Chuck Jackson,
Vino.
Stokes.
Vino was
Stokes.
good, too.
Yeah,
Yes,
Vino,
he
my
was.
brother. But when I
Yes,
came
he
over
was.
here, imagine this. That I pick up my wife, who's just a joy in my heart,
She's a
and
beautiful
come over
thing.
here, and
She's
then
a
I
gift.
stink, can't play no basketball. I
Oh.
told them, I said, listen, when I seen y'all pit bulls and while I was over here with Carpenter and them, and even Teddy and all of them guys, the way they play, I said, if I don't know how to play or adjust to that physicality and that type of style that they play, because Billy know, even Billy and his brother Clark, he named. You can go on and on and on. They were ballers. And
That's all we did.
I said, listen, I gotta up my ante. I gotta up my game now because these guys is wanting to take one
They
of
were
their
doing
take
it?
one of their take one of their foxes out of here and
Luke,
marry her.
I am your
and then
father.
come back and can't play no ball, Jeezy. Yeah, they ran me out of town. I said, where you get this bum from? Get him out of here. So I want to
You
give
can
a
have
shout
him.
out to you Kingstonians
Yes.
Thank
and
you.
all the ball players
Yeah.
that
Yes.
provoke me, because you're only gonna get better with people who are better.
Can't.
Iron sharpens iron.
So
Yeah.
And so I want to give a shout out to the Kingstonians for making me the ball player that I was. Or I was already when
They
I came
forced
here.
you?
Huh?
They forced
They
you.
pushed me.
You said you couldn't take beautiful Sonya up out of here unless you got your game
That's right. And then I got the
Okay.
respect because I mean, if I just imagine, I couldn't fathom that. I said,
So imagine this. So
Go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm actually trying to just take this all in. Because
yeah.
y'all are just a little bit older than me, but
Mhm.
I remember the stories about y'all, like
Mhm.
about your play, especially Billy seeing them, your team
Yeah.
playing ball. But so in between you guys because your team is famous from Kingston. How did things go from there to Cardo? Because your team was famous too. Was there years in between that there was like just Kingston wasn't
No,
doing it?
but like they were like the foundation, maybe even a little bit before you guys, right? Like the what was the guy named Joe?
Oh, Joe Yule.
So
Yeah,
was he
Jumbo-
before you?
Yeah, way
Never heard
before
of
me.
him.
So from
The best
I just
team-
think Kingston just produced good teams.
The best team was.
But it wasn't always though, right?
Well,
I think there
no,
was.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't what
you know what they haven't done.
They were
is
consistent.
solidify state
Competitive.
chips.
That's our only
and
thing.
and the weakness being, like I said, with Coach Rienzo sitting some of us and not playing us and missing that opportunity to a couple of years ago. The kid was on TV. The
Brian
other day,
Moore.
Brian Moore.
Yeah.
I coached him when he was 14. Said this kid's going to be
A
something.
nice
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
A
Thought
nice
he's,
story.
he's going to be something special.
that
Anyway,
kid
we
can play.
watched him, and they beat his team.
Mount Vernon.
Beat Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
And the first time in
Like
Like,
was
ever.
that recent?
yes,
Ever.
that was just a couple of years. Well, he's just
Yeah.
been in college for probably his third
Mhm.
year or so.
Yeah, this is senior year.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
So he's been there for 4. But
What?
yes,
One thing I can take out of that, and then I want Jeezy to have his due because I like to hear him talk. Listen, one thing I can take out of that is we both, my wife and I, had the experience of going up to the Final Four and seeing Kingston compete in the Final Four in Poughkeepsie.
Mhm.
Kingston came up a little short.
hmm
And we end up winning, and I don't know how we won because we had to play 5-on-7. Probably that's what they had to do to play 5-on-7 or 8 refs, but
Yeah, I
that
know how it
happens. You
goes.
just
That's-
play. I
That's
always
the
have a
nature of the
saying,
beast. You
when
can
I
show
be
up in a
telling
black
people,
uniform, they
I
won't
told
like
them,
you.
I said, listen, play the ball, not the call. Because
Yeah.
if you keep messing with them officials,
Well,
you're in for a long day because they don't give you nothing.
That's a big part of the game.
Yeah,
That
so,
those
but that
kids
was-
that
that-
I
keep
never
their
met
heads
I
in.
never met a referee in my life that has been a good referee or wants a call to go or switch a call when he calls a foul. It just
Right.
doesn't happen unless
No, it don't. But I wanted to put
I don't
that out there
understand that.
anyway about that. That was the classic of my basketball career.
So tell me
Just to
about
see
your era.
Poughkeepsie win the state title in Kingston when we had a both chance to do that. That would have been special with my wife and I did. Her alumni being Kingston and mine being Poughkeepsie.
Was it state champions when what's Papo's team with the little guys?
Justin Robinson.
Justin, when Papo and them were playing, they almost made it, right?
No, they lost in the
The last
Semifinal.
sectional
Yeah, they lost in
final.
Oh.
Yep.
No, they
That
won the
was at West
sectional.
Point.
They won the
It was West-
sectionals
it was at West
and they
Point.
lost to Mount Vernon.
In the
West-
I mean,
championship.
not Mount Vernon, New Rochelle
New Rochelle.
in the
Semifinal?
the quarterfinal state.
At West
That-
Point.
So if they win that, which they should have,
They
They
would
would've
have
went to
they would have
Glens
went to the
Falls.
Final Four and went to
Okay,
Glens
so they
Falls.
were in the
Yes.
Elite
Final
Eight.
Four is after.
Yeah, you have the
you're-
32, then 16, then the Elite 8, and the Sweet 16, then the Elite 8, then the Final Four.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
so
they got to the Elite 8. 8 teams left.
Kingston just always, to me, breeds. Like every decade, he gets a good year or 2 or 3 teams that come through as a good wave of talent. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, just like any program. But I just think in Kingston basketball in general, I think we have a good program, and I think the
It's
ball
all right, that
always
time's coming.
rolls over. But one thing I don't like about Kingston Sports is they never bring the guys back, like
Right.
us, to
To
what
honor
like
them.
no, just to like
No.
bring talent, like bring more players, bring
No, but
somebody
I-
that might be trouble, like we were trouble. You know what I
okay,
mean?
I
Like
see.
But
What
I
you're saying.
think that's so important. That's such an important point because
It is.
I wanted to do that.
right.
I wanted to do that because there was a whole thing, which hey, it's never too late. It's never too late.
Like
right.
Ron Kelder knows where we grew up. He picked us up from practice. He dropped us
But there
off.
might be an issue there, but I'm not even gonna mess with
No,
that.
no, no. I'm just
I
saying, like
think that you're
the
right.
wave of talent. There's somebody sitting in this 6 blocks radius that could play some basketball, but he's not getting a shot because of where he's from, the credentials. Nobody's backing him. No one. I don't have Chris Sesh. I had Chris Sesh for me. I had Billy Chaffin. I had Robin Dassey. I had Joe
Those are
McDowell. I
important
had all
things.
guys that
They
were
are.
pushing
They
to
are.
get you there.
Mhm.
Corey Chambers, Steve Knox. Like I got these guys that are pushing on us. Yo, what's up?
That's
All right, he got a little
important.
trouble because he grew up a little rough,
But
but
see, that's the magic. The ones that got in trouble, the people for the young black men and men of color, period. I don't care if you're white, but from underserved areas, that's magical
Right.
when somebody can come
Right.
from that. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And I don't think we highlight that enough.
and I don't
Good
think
point.
that I would do it, but I just don't think everybody pushes behind their community for certain things when it comes to like basketball or getting a fundraiser or setting up a team. Because there's teams that these kids, there's $675 for a kid to play on an AAU
I
team.
coach Biddy basketball. We need recruits.
This conversation.
Looking for
Right.
kids.
Like
looking
it's
for
just
kids.
we could go all avenues with that, but
Yeah.
that's just my biggest thing.
No, that's
like,
a very important thing. As the previous youth bureau director, that's why I actually made the move when I got a little bit of change and I brought Tay and had him do the whole, because parents were complaining, like, we have to go, our kids either have to be on AAU
right.
and they can't afford
They
that,
can't-
or go all the way to freaking somewhere down by Middletown that they
Right.
were saying they were going to play ball. I was
Right.
like, what? And I walked around the neighborhood with a pad and I said, I asked kids that was hanging out on the corner, kids was hustling, whatever. Those are the ones I went to. I said, if I could do something for you as far as a sport, what would it be? And the number one thing that they picked up was
Basketball.
basketball.
Yeah.
So I got Tay together and and when I tell you it was crazy
I bet
because
it
we
was.
had kids that,
Wow.
it was dope though. We had kids that were like, that one little boy, I saw him hide a gun. That's how serious.
Wow.
Those are the ones I went to.
Yeah.
I said, why you put that there? He was like, what? I was like, no, why'd you put that there? Stop playing. And this dude that was standing there that knew me said, it's Nina, man. You could talk to her. He was like, nah, because my ops was, this is how I learned what that word meant.
Right.
My ops was down at this thing that they're having, this barbecue down the street. I was like, what's an ops? And that's how he told me what it was. And I said, if you don't go get that thing, I'm telling your mother, I'm calling your mother right now. But when I went to call the mother,
Yeah.
she was worse than him.
Yeah.
Ah,
So it was a
Same.
very, and I'm sure the gun was going and taken, but I specifically went to those kids. I mean, to the point where I went to, oh, he's not with his mother, he lives with the grandmother. And now the grandmother doesn't have him, the aunt has him. I was going to people's houses and getting these kids. I had kids coming out. I had a cop tell me, shout out to Schumann. I had a cop tell me that, Nina, there's a kid that can ball his ass off. His words. Ball his ass off. He needs to be one of the kids that you bring into that program. And I went and found this kid. And it was trickery to get him, to find him. And every now and then I'll see him when he's home. I'll see him and he'll be like, how you doing, Miss Nina? Like nothing but respect because I went out of my way to get that
Absolutely.
kid. But
absolutely.
I think it's so important to your point.
Right,
We need to definitely go back and bring people, whether you were good, bad, or indifferent, and
Right.
the heroes.
And you gotta,
Like y'all were heroes.
everybody's trials and tribulations are different. Like Cotti comes from a very good spiritual background.
A ginormous
Right.
family. with 800
Schaefer is a
people.
lot of energy, always been up Biden City, supports
to the game.
everything from
Novice to the
Kingston.
game.
When I tell you supports I've known Schaefer since I was 8 years old.
Yeah. Used to watch you throw baseballs.
Baseballs.
At my daughter.
Yeah. I got a funny, we could tell a funny story about that.
We gotta
too, but
tell it. We gotta tell it.
Whatever. I knew he was.
Story.
But I've known this man as long as I could remembering
Yeah.
he's always supported everything Kingston.
And he's
Yeah.
still coaching.
And he still is the same
That's
person,
so
giving back to the
dope.
10, 11, 12, 7 and
You
10
gotta
year
get
olds.
kids like, you know,
Patience.
That's
a whole
that's
lot
what
of
we
will.
need. We need 15 of him.
Yeah, see,
You know what I mean?
you know, it's so important to give that, and especially for somebody to be thoughtful like you, Cardo,
Right.
to bring it to him, because
I appreciate
people
you
like
too, by the
you
way.
do
Thank you.
this, like that's just your thing.
Yeah,
That's what
I
you
never
do,
wanted to
but
take a dime. I
Right.
like to
to
put
acknowledge
I
it,
put
I love
that I put that out on the air only because I seen guys make house payments on coaching
Yeah.
and refereeing and whatnot in the game. And the game has given me so much pleasure. And
Well, you need to be able to make some house payments
well, you know what?
what you're putting into it too.
My house payments are made already because when my daughter graduated from Fordham University,
Oh, she went to Fordham?
yeah, wait a minute.
Hey.
We're coming out of a biddy league game, me and
Okay.
her, and I'm just giving her the business like always. You know, you could have made that layup. I said left hand. You know, and we're talking. I'm
Were you
school.
tough on her?
Yeah, tough on both of them. The oldest one more than the youngest one, but yes,
She
tough.
played ball too, the
Yeah,
youngest?
they.
I knew the
oh,
oldest one
No,
did.
the youngest one I'm talking about now. She's the one that graduated Fordham. She went down
Okay.
there and she shined. She did it. But the pickup was the thing. The original. We come out of the Billy Costello gym, and another lady says to me, "Excuse me, is that your daughter that played that game?" I said, "Yeah, 'cause she had 20-some points or something. It didn't matter." I said, "Yeah, that's my daughter." He said, "Well, we'd like her to come to Fordham." I said, "She's 12."
Wait, they were at Midtown?
Midtown, Fordham University.
They came to Midtown?
Coaches heard it.
Yeah.
Not a kid out there that could jump and
That's
flex.
crazy.
It's really
But I never heard of scouts
because
going to Midtown.
scouts. This is the head coach.
Yeah.
This was the head coach.
They
This was-
scouting.
and she's scouting. But she heard it, got in the car, drove all the way up to Kingston,
That's
got out of the car,
crazy.
caught me and her. I said, you know, at the time,
didn't know they
I'm
did that.
thinking, we're going to get the call from the mighty UConn. Maybe we can go to, you know, I was thinking of all the D1 schools that were any good that Chloe could have went to. And I was so proud. She decided she
it's
picked
still
it.
Division
What a
One
mistake.
It is.
basketball.
Oh, they
so
won. They
no
won.
matter-
They won. They won.
no
They
matter-
won her first year.
No matter, I don't care if you played at
Well, levels are
Toledo,
level. Levels are-
Division
yeah.
One basketball. There's only a select few athletes that make it.
You
there.
know, it used to be, and it used to be when I was a kid growing up. It used to be 20 teams, period,
Right.
that had the possibility of winning a national
Right.
championship, NBA Finals,
Yeah.
NFL, Super Bowl. There was only a few teams in each sector. Now, with all these kids getting schooled and trained
Yeah.
better,
NIL money.
I love the kid, type of kid that's coming in the NBA, not trying to wine and dine. Everybody wants to look good now.
I can't stand it.
It is important.
I can't stand
It does
it.
look like it's important.
Instead
I can't
instead of
stand it.
being knuckleheads and this and that and mad, because why be mad at the game that's just brought you $1 million? The kids are being able to graduate with no bill,
No bill.
no
Nothing.
bill. My Chloe, no bill. I talked to
Really? She had a full ride?
full ride.
That's
They
great.
gave her everything: panties, shorts, bras, socks,
They
shoes,
take care of everything?
Food,
everything,
swipe.
everything,
Oh, that's you got to come back with your Chloe.
everything.
You got to come.
you
We're
go.
definitely going to
There
do
you
a
go.
backup
Yeah,
to
let-
this
That'd be good. But
because this is
she-
only
needs
the
to be out
playoffs
there.
right now.
It needs to be
Yeah.
heard.
It
Yeah,
was
definitely.
well, the things you know. My uncle Jimmy, the pastor, actually, let me not mess up. He's a
He
bishop.
wears sneakers now. It's so cool.
Well, we all wear sneakers in
I
church,
like
but
it.
that's okay. Everybody wants to come. That's okay. we're
Things
sneaker.
have changed.
We are a
Cool, you guys.
we are a
Change.
sneaker wearing.
That's because your pastor is the truth.
He is the truth, and it's funny because he see me one day in a pair of yellow kicks. He said, "Oh, I got to get me a pair." I said, "Yo, you want to shop where I shop? I'll give you the list." So, Pastor's a really good guy.
Yes, he
All right,
is.
Pastor
Yes, he
Andre.
is.
Pastor Andre.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pastor
Yeah,
Andre.
we shot
You got
point
me-
of praise.
He makes me get up
Yeah,
early on
him-
All the pastors out
him,
there.
him,
we
and,
give a
him
shout
and my
That's
cousin,
exactly
my
right.
cousin
All of
JD. I give him props, and Uncle Jimmy and my aunt Dot. They've kept this dream alive to where now, inside of a year and a half, we've always doubled, almost tripled
No.
the
no,
numbers.
It's amazing. I went to church and I was like, wait, what's going on here?
Mhm.
but your pastor
Mhm.
brings it.
He
Like,
does it.
so it's so everyday language that like
You know,
you can
I hit
unlock
him.
it.
We can talk, me and him, because
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope.
the smartness.
Pastor Andre, shout out.
Because I'm a little older, and I treat him just like I treat my cousin Jimmy. You know, you guys are kids. Right? You know, I tell him that in a heartbeat. You know,
They got old souls though.
he talking about he think he gonna get married and be married like my uncle Jimmy and then die for 70 years. They ain't
It's
gonna happen.
possible.
So I said, no, man,
It's
that makes him
I believe
110.
in it.
That makes him 110. The woman left him 20 years before that. All right, but other than
Listen.
that, shout out.
I just want to say something,
Yes.
just to reiterate. I'd be remorse if I didn't give a shout out to my hometown, Poughkeepsie, because I know y'all are waiting to try to barbecue me, but that ain't gonna happen. So I know I'm giving all these accolades up here in Kingston because
No.
I'm in Kingston, but I do want to give a shout out to the Herron brothers, Doug and Kenny,
Yes.
who really taught me how to be a champion.
Big Doug.
Heard
It's
those
one
names.
thing,
6'9",
Big
6'9".
6'9" was a
6'9",
beast.
yeah.
He had a team called the Dogs. And they wasn't no Chihuahuas, they were Rottweilers and Pit Bulls. They latched down to you, and they made you fold up early in the game because they had that defense, and defense wins championships. So I didn't know that part of it.
No, you didn't. You were paying.
No, I didn't. But listen, because I thought my best defense was when I shot. You didn't have to look for a rebound because I was back on D, but the shot would go in. So because my shot was so good, I didn't think I needed to play no D. And then if somebody scored
rebound.
30 on the other team, they would put me on him and pair me up with him because they know we would negate each other. So that was the strategy. But it still doesn't neglect the fact that you got to play the whole game. Rebound, defense, protect the basketball, know when to foul, how to foul, situational basketball. All these things is vital. Yeah. And so I said that to give a shout out to the Herron brothers, Doug, who formed the team, Doug and Kenny, Keith Nash, Lonzo Dixon.
I played against
all them
Nash.
cats.
Wait, if we're giving out shouts in Poughkeepsie,
Yeah.
Kevin Sproul
Yeah, he was a dog.
so nasty.
He
in the
disrespected
ball.
me. You shouldn't have mentioned his name.
So nasty.
He
in the ball.
disrespected me
You
one
get the
time.
example. He was
He
nasty.
called me out. He called me out. He said, Cotti, I hear you a legend and everybody who got you,
He
who
would do
got
that.
you. He said, come on, we'll play one-on-one. And he gave me the
He was
business.
nasty.
Yeah, he disrespected me. And I always respected him after that because he called me
you
out.
lived on. Life is good.
Yeah, I did.
So,
Life is good.
a question
But
for
you brothers in Poughkeepsie,
Yeah.
keep holding it down in the
Yeah, they got-
schools, because my wife and I, we fund athletics in Poughkeepsie.
Do you
The
go to the
kids.
games still?
We
like
go
you
to the
used
games
Yes,
like
they
we
do.
used to. We go there.
They're
And we're
loyal.
the
I'll catch
loudest,
him somewhere.
we're the loudest
They're loyal.
ones in the
I
gym.
love it. I love
And
it.
we put our money where our mouth is when we can, you know.
Right.
She always said, hon, we got to live off our giving. We got to live off our giving. But I said, yeah, but
That's
our
the truth.
giving and
Let's
gave
not
out.
get so into the game that we can't pay something.
Yeah, no. So
Yeah.
shout out
so
to
true.
Poughkeepsie.
That's
I
beautiful
respect
that
you,
you do
brothers,
that.
and know that y'all play. We just talking about the tenacity and the
Kingston.
rival from Kingston and Poughkeepsie,
Mhm.
but the respect
always
is
fun.
always there. The
I
respect.
had to have respect because they were so good. You got to win. You was happy
Yeah.
because you know you beat the best.
Yes.
So let me ask you guys something because I absolutely love talking about the history like of the Hudson Valley.
Mhm.
But tell me, put me on because I watch basketball really when it gets to playoff time. Like I try
I
to
know
get in
that's right.
games during, but when it gets to playoff time, I'm like a dude. Am I like a dude?
Yeah.
Ricardo? I'm like, what game?
She'll be FaceTiming. Hey,
Yeah.
don't you see what the Knicks just did?
I will help you.
I love
I will help you. I will help you, and I will fix you right now.
Okay.
You have to get YouTube. You don't have to get YouTube TV, but you have to have YouTube on your television. You have a smart TV. YouTube comes up. You can watch every game ever played
Mhm.
in 9 to 16 minutes. 36 minutes means they're going to show you
But not the current one.
every current one every night.
Yeah.
The Knicks,
game-
the Knicks game, yeah, on YouTube. The Knicks game, I knew the final before I watched the game.
Mm.
I only watched the game because I want to see. I watched to a
Oh,
certain
you gotta
point.
show me how to do
Oh,
that.
it's easy. That's good stuff though because I stream everything now, and it's
me
it's,
too.
So
it's
if there's a game on tonight,
yeah, it'll be on. It'll be on at around say the game starts
like right after the game is off, they'll
right
show
after the
it?
game. Yeah, and
Yeah.
during the game can still be going on live,
Mhm.
and you can watch the first, second, third quarter until it's over.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so like if you're doing something, say you're in meeting
I'm always
podcast.
doing something.
Yeah, I know. And you're online, then all of a sudden you got 15 minutes. You hit your TV and plug it in, and wow, here I am. I'm watching. So
So we got to talk. We got to talk.
all right,
a
that's
little
easy.
NBA.
NBA, yeah.
We have
The
to.
NBA,
So,
yes.
Because
Let's get to the
I've
NBA,
never.
Billy. Let's get
I
to the
love
Knicks.
basketball, but it's really hot right now.
For those
It
that
is.
are, for those
These
that
are
are
exciting
jumping,
times. These
I'll
are
say it
exciting times
slower.
for the
They really
NBA
are.
I'm
and
not going to try and
WNBA.
out talk you. I'm just going to say it slower.
Go
For
ahead.
those that are trying to jump on board, that train left. All right, now Neen's back.
Basketball fans. Basketball fans at the end of the day.
There's only 4 teams left, folks.
And
Nina, to
they,
answer your question, the young teams out west are scarier than the Knicks are right now. The Knicks did something that a lot of teams don't get away with, and that was to win 2 games against Boston, which was the defending champs.
Down
right.
20.
And you said it best.
Both games.
Down
You
20
gotta
both
beat the best to
games.
be the best.
That's right.
You said that.
And so they got a
So-
lot of momentum. Go ahead.
Now, when you see crazy things happen in sports like that, you always say maybe it's our time.
And then God bless God.
Well, God,
I hope
what is
he
it?
heals. But then Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. So you
Right.
knew it
That was
was
sad.
it was destined for the Knicks to go this far right now. And I think
Yeah.
they're gonna make it to the finals, honestly. I don't know what's gonna happen at the finals.
You'll
But-
have a bunch of guys
So-
coming back wanting to beat you because we traded.
So you have 4 teams that's in the finals right now.
playoffs right
in
now.
the playoffs,
Right.
in the final 4.
Semi.
And that's for the Eastern Conference. You have the Knicks,
The
Right.
Pacers.
the Pacers. They're gonna battle. And I think it's going 7.
think it's going
both
7?
series. I think it's going 7, man, because they didn't came too far and they will to
I
want
don't
to
know
win.
anything about the Pacers.
And then
Sorry.
out west, you got the 2, and that's going to be electrifying.
OKC.
I can see
OKC and
OKC
Minnesota
and
Timberwolves.
Ant-Man and them
Yeah.
going at it with his
Oh, I like
entourage with
Ant-Man.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, but you got to get what supporting cast are you going to get from Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's Oklahoma get up and down that court.
Yeah, they do. I had them listen.
And that young boy is a dog.
I
Don't
told
worry about
Larry.
me. I'll
I
talk.
told Larry. Larry, you know, I told you this, and like I said, you know, the one team is gone that I thought because they were the best teams all year, and that was Cleveland and OKC that was going to be paired up.
Yeah, I didn't like Cleveland
1 and
at
2.
all.
But Cleveland folded up like a cheap tent. And you said, you listen, and you said to me, Larry, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't believe that you hadn't had Boston in the conversation.
Right.
Now my words to
Why?
Larry,
'Cause
my
that's
words
team
to
in the-
Larry was that it's hard to repeat, especially in these times that we got with these young guys. These young guys are running like jackrabbits. Like I said, the Knicks, they better be on their game because Halliburton and them boys, they run up and down the court.
Yeah,
They throw out
yeah,
the shot clock.
Yeah.
They run up and down the court. And so it shows up in the fourth quarter. If
And
the
they got-
legs ain't there, they
And
retire.
and Indiana got a couple seasoned vets that been
Oh my God. They are loaded.
what's his name?
Who?
The African dude.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know. Number 43, but he won a championship with Toronto, so he's a little seasoned. Like, so he already knows how.
And he's on which team?
He's on Indiana.
Sayaka.
Sayaka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pacers.
Yeah, he's a little
So how can
seasoned.
you-
Evan Turner. Those
Wait, you
guys.
think Indiana's going to be.
No, I think the Knicks are going to win this round.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now.
But
I got Indiana as
Come
the
in-
Cinderella team
No.
to go to the finals, but I got OKC cutting the nets down. I ain't changed. I said that from
New
the
York
beginning.
got to
My
come
two-
into that like they played
My
Boston.
two Cinderella teams was Denver. They gone. They folded up like a cheap tent. But I still got them Indiana Pacers because they throw out the shot clock and I like
Look
their
at Billy
style of play. Billy laughing, but if the Knicks sneeze,
Billy.
they're gonna be going fishing too.
He's so crazy.
You know,
Billy.
it's fun for me because the kids call me coach, and I earned my degree, and I can tell you things right down to the
I'm
millisecond.
just worried out there
No, I get you,
because the Knicks still got.
but I'm gonna say it for the 7th time tonight. That train done left. I don't need you hoping for my
Gotti,
team.
you got a lot of scenarios too.
Yeah.
So you gonna win.
Oh, he got his money on him.
You got Denver.
He
You
got
got
Denver.
Cinderella.
He's still looking for the LeBron money.
Yeah. That's a good point,
I
Jeezy.
like this
Indiana's the
Cinderella.
sleeper.
I got 2 left right now, and that's Indiana.
Only person he ain't give a shout out to was the Knicks.
Well, that's a
I
50%
know.
chance.
So I said in my text, I said the Knicks got the wherewithal and the team to get to the finals.
I want the Knicks to win now,
But
though.
I don't see them winning it. I don't see them
I
beating
want-
either. I don't see them beating either one of them Western Conference teams if they get there.
So
but
I
I'll
do.
tell you who can beat them
Who?
that if they get there.
They're-
The Pacers.
They're home for the holidays.
So the Knicks is playing the Pacers, right? It's down to Knicks Pacers.
Knicks, Pacers, OKC, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I know New York. Listen,
Timberwolves. that
Timberwolves.
sounds
New
good.
York.
All right.
I love you, but I just never rooted for New York teams. But
my
New York
gosh.
won me over.
Oh my God.
my-
New York run me over.
Wait, do you like
I don't like
what about in baseball?
Oakland A's.
What?
Tell them, Billy.
I'm sorry to tell.
It's not a-
I will
And they laughing
I
at
will
me.
say this
Oh
for
my
Carlton.
gosh.
Go ahead.
He stayed the same
Oh
Team.
my God.
team since I've met him.
Ever.
And he likes the New England Patriots.
Basketball team, Jeezy.
The Portland Trailblazers.
He likes Portland.
Yeah, that's the
Trailblazers.
only team I like outside of New York.
Football team been there for.
New England.
He's been in a hot
Yeah.
seat. When I met him,
York.
You gotta-
listen, I like the Dolphins.
He got at least
Don't
one,
get mad at me.
he got at least like one New York team, though. Come on.
No, hey,
At least one.
Hey,
Soccer. something.
no, basketball. He likes the New York Liberty.
Oh.
Don't get
You
mad
like
at
the
me. I
Liberty?
like him too. I met Brianna Stewart one time, young girl. She was getting ready to play.
Did she
and
play up here?
She played at Northern Cicero by Syracuse.
Oh.
And
Believe it or not, I
she
don't-
came down to the
I
game
don't
in the
know
finals.
those teams, G.
Something special.
It's just because of the fans, man. They
Right,
hate you, they
right.
love you, and they go crazy, man.
But that's
why-
that's with anybody.
My heart is with you, Billy, because I don't want them burning down the city and getting mad and coming after me. So you better
Oh,
call them
They
off.
burned Kingston twice. Leave us alone.
Look, you see the way they acted when they won the last round. They gonna go crazy in New York.
We're not,
Whether they
we're not
win
here
or lose.
It's the soccer game, so leave us
Oh
alone.
no, them soccer games.
I mean, what's up,
Billy, I hope you get to sing.
with Knicks?
I
I
want
mean,
you
with
to
the team.
be.
Okay, so
I am.
Minnesota OKC plays tonight at
What time?
8:30.
All right. I don't know what time it is, but
It is 6:50.
And it
Okay.
really
We got
does not,
plenty of time.
it does not matter.
so Minnesota and OKC tonight.
New
And then
York,
when's New York?
Indiana tomorrow, prime
No, they
time,
play
8
tomorrow.
o'clock.
That's where the series starts for us. We already
Yeah.
lost game one. That's just a taken, given all the hardness that they had to play to get to that point. And these boys are young.
Wait,
And they
you
can
played
play.
them yet, though, right?
No,
Oh,
This part
the
of it's
first
just,
game.
Okay,
it's ugly.
But they played during the season.
right, but
I
I'm
don't
saying
know the
so
exact
because
series.
Boston
I
was the
think
last
the-
team that they
The
just
Knicks
beat
hold
at
the edge
Boston.
on
No.
Indiana, I think, in the season.
No,
In the
didn't
season.
Indianapolis beat them in game one?
No, I'm talking about in the
no, they ain't
season.
play yet.
Seasonal.
Oh,
They play tonight, tomorrow night.
2 out of
see, that's that YouTube. I watched the game that they must have played already.
Okay, so for tonight, who you guys think for tonight?
yeah. Tell me.
I like OKC. Like
Inquiring minds want to know.
at home, I like OKC.
All right, for the
DJ
for
so
the for the WA community. OKC looks pretty good to me. Yeah.
Okay,
I like the big man.
But I think it's gonna be a shootout too. They're gonna get up and down. They're both gonna
Timberwolves?
score.
When the playoffs started, and Jeezy said it, that I got multiple teams, but I was following you play.
Oh no, you said
play
your favorite
football.
was OKC though. Yes.
Ask Larry. I got it in the text. I didn't lose it. I said, Larry, I said the Knicks are gonna give teams trouble, and if the team sneeze on them,
Somebody wants me again.
the Knicks are gonna get them
So
because of their tenacity. So I'm telling you, I got OKC winning the NBA championship. But my runner-up from day one, when the playoffs started, because I seen how they came into the playoffs and I didn't watch them like that. And I said, man, this team runs, they run, and they share the ball. It doesn't touch nobody's hand
who's
for
the
10
runner-up?
seconds.
Who's the runner-up?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the 4 teams that's left, you think it's gonna be OKC and Indiana?
No, I think it's gonna be OKC and New York.
I I do too.
And
I hope
when
so.
you get to the NBA Finals, anything can happen.
That's right.
That's what they
So,
say.
Just getting there, that's the fight right now.
The fact that the
Right.
Knicks got there
And Nick
is,
shot home court too.
is spectacular.
No,
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, they do.
oh, they have home court
Yeah,
against
that's 7th
Indiana, yes, because
Yeah.
Indiana was a
Tomorrow?
sixth
Yeah.
seed
So
or
what
yeah.
would it seem if they lost that first game, the Knicks against the Pacers? Would
They-
that would be horrible if it's
Yeah, because now Indiana still's home court.
which makes
Still
it kinda-
3-3.
is it
Yeah, but they
It's-
still,
I think the
Three
format
and a
is
half.
still.
even if they split and they can end them.
I
but
think the
does that
format is
affect
still
teams
2-1-1-1.
psychologically when they lose at home?
Yes, I do. I
would
believe in
think
an.
so.
I think that's what happened in
You know,
Boston.
These guys are professionals. And
The-
unlike this table that I'm sitting here with, these people that keep looking at themselves on the mirror and on
I
the
am-
glass. You know, when I used to do radio and people would call me up and say, Jay, what do you look like? I said, too ugly for TV, too pretty for radio though. So, but no, when you look at the teams that are left, you have 4 teams, all 4 of them play D.
Exactly.
That being said, all 4 teams are way out of the caliber of average offense. They're
Okay.
probably the top 4, top 6. If there's any 2 out there that got beat already, that can actually play at this level. We're talking the best level, and that's why the women's game cracks me up. Because I said this 5 years ago, the women's game is going to explode when women start dunking on a steady diet.
Yep.
Right now, you got the
they?
You got a handful
got
of people.
we got the 4.
You got a handful of people dunking in the NBA,
Oh,
WNBA. Yes.
Get you two.
oh, I gotta see this.
Get you
You're gonna make me
two.
start watching.
I know
it.
I am because you'll be like,
And
just
you're
like
gonna
that
end
said
up.
back
I,
then.
I was the same way as Shafe. I don't know if I was biased to the game.
I teach little
It
girls. I
just
love
grew on me, and for the last like 6 years,
Yeah.
I've been watching all the WNBA. They just
they dunk.
play.
They
They
dunk.
dunk. They
Oh, yeah.
play together. They shoot
They get
good. They
some
just
legs
play
are getting
together so
stronger
well.
It is
because they're
amazing.
developing. They're developing.
And they're shooting from
5 years from
30 feet
Very
now.
exciting. Very
the girls
entertaining.
shoot like they can. Okay.
They shoot
I'm
like
gonna
like
start
pros.
watching.
So the game is definitely and you know what
They
they
have
do
a little
need?
beat between
They need a
Caitlin
bag.
Clark and
They're gonna get it too.
They need a bag. They gotta get
such
paid.
a rivalry.
They're
They're
gonna
trying
get
to
it,
make
too.
they're trying to make business, but the skill levels they're going up, and as they go up, the attendance will go up.
That's right.
And if the girls don't stop this beef and stuff,
It's
Yeah.
a waste of time.
it's a waste of time.
It-
You
it
know,
stops
because
progress.
well, you know what? Everybody's not going to get a sneaker deal.
Right,
Mm.
right,
Okay,
right.
you know,
right.
everybody's not. It used to be you got a sneaker deal,
They're talking about going global.
you were good. Yeah.
Oh, really?
and that-
They talking about playing in other
Oh,
countries.
yeah, that
on a
little
regular
African
basis.
team
The,
that
the
played-
NBA has already touched the
Right.
scratched the surface. But now the WNBA,
Okay.
they want a piece of that rock over these
You know what I
different
used to say?
countries and stuff.
You know what I used to say? If you're gonna get teams from all over the world, still make them come
Yeah.
over here, and everybody play the season here, or everybody go over there and play the season there,
Right.
as opposed to all this flying.
Yeah, and they
these
got
kids and
these girls
stuff.
playing in 2 leagues just to make money,
Oh, really?
and they're burning themselves out. That's why these players are
The
getting.
money's still off, but it's not.
Oh,
It's
I have an
it's
episode on that.
it's gotten
alone.
better.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gotten better. When Caitlin
'Cause
Clark
they
came
do
in
the same
Italy,
thing.
they started using charters and they started getting teams to the terminals and having planes wait and have them take off. So that part of it's really, really
And
good.
and the crazy part is like when Caitlyn plays, she'll sell out an arena. She's selling out an arena better than LeBron right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So
She got her
they're-
foul.
and
they're
and
getting paid.
and the cheapest
But
ticket.
she don't get LeBron money.
She don't get LeBron
But
money,
she
but
but she get money.
no, she's getting money.
got- she
But
She gets paid.
the
Because
cheapest.
sneaker deal from Nike
getting her
that
bag.
went bad, and then it became good, and now it's worth like mega money.
But
That
it's
ch-
not like so in general, the women's
Oh no! In general, the women
know?
are making a salary like you work.
They get ready to
a year
get paid like the males in the NBA are
They
getting
should.
paid.
Okay,
The-
well,
the,
they
the
should.
men.
Commodities
They
too
getting ready to
big
get
now.
paid because
They
the
really
product
should.
is there.
As the product gets a little better,
Mhm.
and like I said, dunking, shooting, the defense.
Very
is always-
exciting right now.
It's exciting because a young girl can go to college
Yeah.
and not
For
make
free.
it. Stephanie Dawson, she played for UConn, mighty UConn. They went 101, whatever
Yeah.
their magic thing was. But there was a day when I was sitting down, I think she was at Mini Sink Valley. I went down to recruit, and I'm going down to watch this young girl. She's in eighth grade.
The sink is right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
By
she's one
Newburgh.
of ours. And I'm sitting there watching, and I'm watching now. Chafe. I'm always running my mouth. I'm like, man, where's her parents? I said, if that was my kid, I'd break her down. She'd have to lose some weight. I said,
Don't say they were.
she was D1 material. And I'm talking all this at this time. I said, that girl's D1 material. I said, she got great hands. Shoot, can't nobody stop her. She's 6'5", and I'm like, that's incredible. I said, somebody need to get her mother. I talk to her, and I get a tap on my shoulder. Her mother and father sitting right behind me.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
right behind,
I would
right
die.
behind me.
I would be so upset.
They said, well, we're her mother and father. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Fast thinking chafe. I said, listen, if she doesn't get 4 free, let her come play for me. And they bought it. They loved it. She was almost at Ulster.
Wow.
She came to Ulster for 2 years. We changed the whole face of the franchise.
Wow.
We'd have won
Is that
everything.
coach?
Yeah, coach with Teddy Van Dyke.
How you coach at Ulster?
Teddy, I'll tell you the cute story. I get a phone call one day. Hello, Chafe. Say, who's this? It's Teddy. I said, oh, Teddy, how you doing? I do bad, Teddy, but anyway.
No, that was good.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it was. It
I was
was.
working. So he says, I was talking to the Lord. I said, you what? He said, yeah, and God told me to call you and why don't you coach with me out? I said, he does? So you're telling me God called you to tell me to come coach with you? He said, yeah. I said, all right, well, you got a pen on you? Tell God to call me because I know he's got my number. And this is the God's honest truth. This is an honest
my
guy.
God.
This is a true story. And I laughed and I hung up the phone.
That's how he pulled you in.
And that's how it pulled me in. I was on the golf course golfing, and I hit a shot from 160 yards. I was a little far away, and it hit, and it rolled down the hill, and it rolled into the cup.
Stop it.
Might have been
A hole in one.
No. It was
After
an
he
eagle.
called you or before?
No, it was. This happened after.
Okay.
right.
That was your thing right there. That's how
was-
God called you.
I was happy.
He
I
said,
made them-
Yeah.
And then they call, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll come out and talk. And I went out and talked, and I stayed another 10 years out there with him.
that's awesome. I
Yeah,
did
you
not
guys,
know
you guys,
that.
put,
Teddy was.
you guys had some good talent too.
Yeah,
I
we
used
had
to
good
come out to your open gyms when I was in high school and play with
It was
y'all.
fun. A lot of fun. Tried to get you to play for me.
Well, you laugh. I ended up playing for Corey.
I know.
I ended up playing for Mr.
They didn't give it to me. They gave it to Corey. Otherwise, you'd have played for me.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd have done some things because by that time I was in.
Didn't recruit hard enough,
Well,
Billy.
no, I didn't. And one of the things you learn as a coach, you ain't got the players, so you're not coaching. It's that simple.
I tell you what, junior college was
JUCO is the best
it was
because
it was a lot of good competitive games. Like
the games
because
are good because the kids are good.
the kids are like me that didn't have the amazing grades and
D1 without a D1 grade.
right.
It's no
Yeah.
fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
no
That's a good way of
fun.
putting it.
Yeah, there's no fun in the game if you can't study. See, basketball, unlike
Say it
soccer,
again.
unlike soccer,
I
wait a
don't know how
minute.
many people look at it that
But
way.
unlike soccer, you can have a whole season. You play soccer from September right up to December.
Right.
Then the grades come in, and if you get expelled from college, it don't matter. You don't play the whole.
You played your
You
year.
don't play the whole year.
Basketball, you got to do both.
Basketball, you play from November to January. Midterms come in, grades come in. You don't pass, you off the team.
That's
The
right.
science
You off
to
the. Now here's where it gets crazy. Is a coach going to take you that studies, or the best player in the school?
Wow.
Well, he wants both of these. And no, he's going to be here
Wow.
come January.
Yeah.
This guy ain't going to be here in January because he don't study.
I don't know how I pulled
But
it.
you-
I don't know how I pulled it off, but I stayed
Well,
eligible.
you had to study a little. You
I
had
don't know
to-
how I
He-
pulled it
I
off.
don't know what.
Yeah, he
Carlton's
is.
very, very
You
intelligent.
know, we don't preach.
But I also did take a
Study.
couple classes over
That's okay.
in case I failed the class,
okay.
and still I had the.
That
12
was the
credits.
magic
So
of
you
college.
put, you
Yeah.
put the effort in. I mean,
Yeah.
you're trying.
That's what
Yeah,
I said.
yeah.
You had
Trying.
to do something.
It was a lot of. I played a lot of basketball in those couple of years, and it was good competition.
I went up north.
Good
After
competition.
leaving Oneonta State University, and I went to a D3. And number one, my ego was shot. I was broken. and I'm crying. I walk in the gym, and like 300 guys. 300 guys, 12 spots, 300 guys. And I look around, I'm like, I know I'm getting his spot. I'm getting his spot. I'm going to get his spot. I'm going to get them two goofy guys. I'll get the,
Well, maybe it was a benefit for
it
people.
was a benefit. It was a reality check.
Yeah.
You know, you don't shoot your own horn thinking you all that in the bag. I walked in like, yeah, I know I got this.
It was 300. Was it that many people really?
It was 300 kids.
Wow.
All looking
That's
for
crazy.
12 jobs.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of 12 jobs. And half the team was coming back from last year.
So you guys, we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
I have one question for all of you. Well, just give me your comments. So
Mhm.
I want to bring it back to the teams that are getting ready to play, the NBA.
Okay.
Your thoughts. CJ already gave us his thought. He thinks it's gonna be. He thinks Knicks is getting knocked out the box,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be the Pacers against OKC. Is that what your thought is?
Yes.
What's your thought, Cardo?
I think it's going to be the Knicks versus OKC. I can't tell you the prediction for the finals. I can just tell you it's going to be anything can happen in the finals. I'm leaning more towards I want the Knicks to win, but anything can happen at that point.
Billy say.
I'm a Nick man. There's nothing to
I
it.
love it.
There's no discrepancy.
Possible.
Well, after the 2 20-point wins, I knew the magic was back.
Mhm.
And I was like, all of a sudden, we ain't had a win. The last time I seen it, I'm watching YouTube. Patrick Ewing coming down.
2000?
96.
99?
96.
Wow.
96.
He missed the
Mike
finger roll?
Gurry missed the finger roll.
Okay.
96. Because the game before that, Pat made a finger roll real pretty. They were celebrating. I was like,
Why didn't he
"Don't
just
do
dunk
that."
it? You ever
And
ask
they-
yourself why he didn't dunk that
I'm
ball?
watching the repeat, knowing in my heart, I'm saying, why didn't this guy dunk this ball? We'd have had that chip. Now, that being said, we haven't been that close in a long time. This is the closest we've been. So for me to sit around and hope for the other teams, especially coming from two guys that I know very well, that they're not Knick fans.
I just said I want the
I
Knicks to
know
win.
what you're saying. You didn't mean it. So
I mean it.
well, there's something.
I'm gonna be honest
There's something
about
to
it.
logic.
I'm gonna be honest about it. I told you from the start.
I want the
before we
Knicks
go-
to win. I don't like none of the
I
other
told
teams
you
in
from the
there.
start
Put some money.
that they say I'm trying to go for all the teams. No, I'm not, because a lot of the teams that I see, and I just want to say that I don't follow basketball from the collegiate
Oh, I do.
level
I do.
at that level, and that's where I miss these guys when they get to the NBA. Seeing them, I only watch it when it's tournament time, because the knock was that they were scoring too many points. It turned me away. You get 100 and beating the team 100-20 and all that. I said, no way. They should pair these guys up with people in their conference, but they can't get better unless they play better. I understand it. So having said that, I said from the outset that the Knicks is a dangerous, different team now. They got they lunch pail, they hard hats, and they got
They putting in the
everyone on
work.
that
Okay,
court buying
okay.
in.
They
Talk
put
that
in
thing.
They also traded half the team
So
away.
I'm not.
Both of them
listen,
guys will be coming from.
I'm not a hater, New York, but what I am is a realistic.
Okay.
I'm a realist.
I like the
And so what I'm trying to tell you is that the Knicks got all the ingredients to go there and win it. But do I think they are? No, because I know that Indiana has the same type of team, but they run. And if they turn the ball over, which the Knicks are capable of doing, they in trouble, because that team gets up and down. They throw out the shot clock. So if legs ain't underneath of them in the third and fourth quarter, it's a wrap. Indiana going to run by
You know how many months they've been running though now?
And then I want to say this before we end, that the average margin of win for OKC all year long, they passed at Cleveland for the best record, and they got the number 1 seed. Cleveland was 2. And Cleveland was 1 in the East, but I'm talking about overall number 1 seed is the OKC. And their average margin of victory in an 82-game schedule, Google it if you think I'm lying, is 13 points. Sometimes the game ain't even close. It's out. They don't have to come down to the last second shot. So I'm looking at all
You know what that means? If I was coaching, you know what that means.
I know.
I'm putting so much pressure on you. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, we're gonna press you. We're gonna trap you. The only thing wrong with the Knicks, and I know you're looking for an edge somewhere, they don't close out on the three. That's why in the beginning I didn't think they had enough firepower
Yeah.
to beat Boston because Boston's the best 3-point shooting team.
They are.
They were.
Let-
And they have nine of the 12 guys can take a three.
They
Let-
start
let-
averaging
let me ask
30
you one
30
question.
a game.
Yeah.
One question. Both of you.
Go ahead.
All right, you got Jalen Brunson and you got Ant-Man. You got SGA.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they let them get off like that? Why they don't double,
I won't
triple them
answer
and
for
let
two
somebody
of them.
else beat them?
I won't answer for two of them, but I will tell you this about Brunson. He's the clutch player of the year. And the reason he's a
He's
clutch player,
amazing.
really, because he hasn't missed a clutch shot. The GOAT doesn't take clutch shots. Sorry, LeBron.
He makes
I don't care. He makes
best.
Brunson
He makes
is a
the best
baddie.
play
He's
on
a
the court.
Daddy. And you know,
He's a
I
baddie.
wasn't a Brunson fan
Really?
when we first
Me either. He grew
they
on
had-
me.
They had
He grew on
Donovan.
me.
They were going to
But
get
he grew on-
Donovan from Cleveland.
he
So
grew
it
on
was
me.
Brunson Donovan, and I was like, oh, come on.
He grew on me
He was
from
bigger. Donovan's good.
when he played with Dallas. He had that hot playoffs when Luka got hurt.
I didn't
Yes.
know
I said,
that
"Oh, this
was
kid is good.
Yeah.
This
didn't
kid's
know
good."
So I'm gonna answer your question in 30 seconds. The answer to your question is why they don't double these cats. Is
Can't.
when you got these cats on the Knicks
You can't.
that can get to the rack. and-
I'd rather you beat me that. I'm not letting Brunson get 35, 40 points on me.
He's going to get that.
He don't have to.
I,
He
He's
don't
gonna
have
get
to.
That's the average. He could get 40, 45, 50 if he took all the shots.
The Knicks,
yeah, no, you're right.
The Knicks can win. The Knicks can win with Brunson just distributing.
I mean, you want to call this
and get
get,
You don't have to
I'm
get
tired of
35 to win on that team.
you know how long ago that boat left. Now we're on a boat. That's how
We're
long
out.
it's been.
We out.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something.
Wait,
Carl.
Thanks for
We're gonna be on a group text for the next two
Thank-
nights. I'm
thank-
telling because
thank you for thank you for having us, Nina. I appreciate it. Like to you two guys, it was a pleasure to
I love
and a
it.
blessing to come up in here with you guys and talk old school, talk new school,
I just
talk
want to
everything.
say one thing and one thing only. I'm so glad you didn't hit my daughter with that baseball. I would have gone beat your dad.
Were you little? Did so? What,
No.
Hey, he was 12 years old.
We played in. Tell them the story, Shape, before we
Oh
go.
my God.
We go to the championship.
Oh my God, broke my
The
heart.
best player in the league, Recardo, coming up against one of the strikeout artists of the league, my daughter. I take my daughter to the cages. We play hard. I said, the one thing I don't want you to do is be scared of Ricardo. Because I said, he's going to throw at you and he wants you scared. I said, whatever you do, keep your elbow up. And I guarantee you, he's going to throw you one. He's going to throw a couple at you, but he's going to throw one. That's the one I want. 2 outs. Renaissance. Yeah. Time. Second base.
Win
To win. And she hits a shot up the middle.
up the middle.
And I
Where
went
you
to,
were pitching?
and I won't tell him how you cry. Yo,
No,
I thought he was going to go somewhere
Where
to
did
play
he hit you?
baseball.
I cried like a baby.
You cried like
She
a-
hit the ball
No,
up
no,
the
she got-
middle
She got a hit.
To win the game?
to win the
You
game.
can tell
Oh,
he's
she
still.
won the
That's
game
why I
and
don't
you
tell
were
the
pitching?
story much.
You was on the mound?
I was
Yes.
on the mound. I'm throwing smoke.
Yo, he's throwing heat.
Mind you,
Heat.
I'm like, oh,
You
this
can
what-
hear it. You can hear the glove in the backs because the kid wasn't catching everything.
Oh,
my
my
father
God.
had to pick me up
Oh,
Wow.
off the mount, and Shafe came up to me and said, "It's okay, kid."
Yeah, it was. I always.
How
Like
old
he
y'all
was.
then?
I was 12 years old.
12.
11,
and I know
12,
Rick
12.
was rough on you, right?
What? No, he actually
Did he feel
he
bad?
treated me like a son that
Oh,
day.
my
Yeah, he felt you.
Yeah.
You feeling
Well,
it,
you
man.
know what?
Yo,
That-
you
that-
shook. You
That
was
what I will never for. I tell his daughter that I don't care where I see her.
That's
Every time I see her,
disrespectful.
I'd be like, "Yo, you know you were
that.
Jasmine,
Oldest.
That was
Jasmine." I
I've
said,
never been so happy.
I
in
said,
my
Jasmine,
life.
you know, you ruined my baseball career.
Is that why? Is that why?
Tell me was that
I
block.
put-
Yeah,
no,
no, right
not
across the street from our house.
Metropolitan
Right there.
Naho League. I
Right
will
there.
never ever forget it.
Yes.
That don't feel
Yeah,
right.
a little feel right there.
about the Metro?
Yes.
This
yes.
is when that league was phenomenal, though. That
It
league was a
was.
phenomenal league
I
back
was
then.
a, I was a, I was a
Back in the
baseball
John
fan.
Holochuck days.
I was a baseball
But that
fan.
that is one of
He was
the
this big
back then.
at 12.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to use that as a reference, but when you see a young man, he's only 12, and he's throwing the ball in the air,
You don't smoke?
Yeah.
smoke.
And
Smoke.
and believe it or not, baseball was probably my best sport.
It was your best.
I played
sport.
all the way up until I was
Really?
like a sophomore in high school.
played
Yeah.
Too scared to play the real game, football, but that's okay. We'll talk about that on the next.
Basketball was
Thank
it.
you, Nee, for having me. I
Thank you, Neen.
enjoyed
Let's
this.
Shout out.
see Nina's back. We got to bring them back. I want to definitely see you come back with your daughter because I love hearing more about the women's side of
She's
things.
doing phenomenal things.
I like it. I like
Who's
it a
that?
lot.
What's his name? Keonis, that does the What Would You Do? She was on that episode.
Wow.
She lives in Jersey.
Okay.
She lives in Jersey down by, all right, I give you a plug, Kate Box. She lives on that same block. I mean, you look out her window, there it is right there.
Wow.
Anyway.
The cake box?
Yeah. And down the street is like the river and all that. And she walks out.
She left. She made it out.
Yeah, her and her boyfriend down there. She's a Jersey girl now.
Kudos to her.
And
like
John
anybody.
Keonis and him came up to him or filming and asked him, "What would you do?" And she's a mess. down
That's
there.
crazy.
I've had so much fun.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Check out Nina's bag. Let's see what's in Nina's bag.
Name Miss Nina.
These are